MACC records largest ever cash seizure. Little sympathy for Budgie 9. This is Cuppa News and I'm Natasha Hussain. ringgit 112 million. That's how much the MACC has seized so far from two senior Sabah Water Department officials, who are among 4 people remanded for a week over kickbacks involving 3.3 billion ringgit worth of federal projects. MACC Deputy Chief Commissioner of Operations, Dato' Azam Baki, said 52 million ringgit cash was seized from various places, including from officials' offices and houses, while their bank accounts held 60 million ringgit. 9 luxury vehicles, 94 high-end handbags, jewelry and luxury watches, as well as folders filled with 127 land and property titles were also seized. The 2 suspects, a 54-year-old director and his 51-year-old deputy, were nabbed at their office on Tuesday. The deputy director's 55-year-old businessman brother, a dato', and his accountant were also arrested. Azam said the senior officers also kept money in a neighboring country and that several individuals would be called in to assist the probe. In other news, it was an emotional day for the unemployed woman whose 2 children and husband were found dead at their Segambut apartment last week. Call Mei Yan sobbed vehemently as she was charged at the KL Magistrates Court with neglecting her 7-month-old son, Chia Kai Wen, who died under her care at the Nova 2 apartment in Taman Sri Sinar. The 35-year-old, who was unrepresented, pleaded not guilty to the charge and was granted bail. The boy had apparently died months earlier after her husband threw a chair at him for crying. The case will be re-mentioned on November 11th. In an unexpected turn of events, the police withdrew their appeal against the release of My Watch chairman Dato' R. Sri Sanjeevan from his 21-day detention under POCA. Justice Arifin Zakaria struck out the appeal after Senior Federal Counsel Muhammad Sinti informed the 5-man panel that the prosecution did not have intention to proceed with the appeal. Sanjeevan was detained under POCA on July 10th, some 18 days after he had already been in detention following his arrest on suspicion of extortion. The Australian government has offered little sympathy for the so-called Budgie 9, detained for stripping down to their underwear emblazoned with the Jalo Gemilang at Sunday's Grand Prix.
Well, this is another example of Australians travelling overseas and landing themselves in trouble with the laws of another country. They are facing certain charges, and what might be seen as a foolish prank or Aussie blokey behaviour in Australia can be seen very differently in another country. And as I constantly remind Australians travelling overseas, you're not subject to the laws of Australia, you're subject to the laws of the country you're visiting. And there can be different customs and cultural sensitivities that also come into play.
The men are being held on remand pending investigations for public indecency and provocation. One of them works for Australian Defence Industry Minister Christopher Pyne. The 9 are expected to face court tomorrow, where their detention could be extended for a further period to allow more investigations, or they could be charged, sentenced to time served, and deported immediately. Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad has admitted that he failed to convince the young diPertuan Agong to accept the Citizens' Declaration, calling for action against the Prime Minister.
We had a very long discussion, lasting about 1 hour and 10 minutes, and he was questioned me seriously about the provisions of the law and things like that, and I explained. But at the end of it, of course, I could not convince him that he should act.
He added that in view of the Conference of Rulers, scheduled to be held on October 11th, letters have been sent to all rulers appealing on behalf of the signatories to the Citizens' Declaration for action to be taken against the Prime Minister for alleged wrongdoings. Meanwhile, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim met with Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin to discuss cooperation between PKR and Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia in forming a strong alliance to face Barisan Nasional in GE14.
Ya, bincang untuk meningkatkan usaha kerjasama dalam Pakatan Harapan dan juga kerjasama dengan Bersatu. Yang depan, tengok depan kuning semua dengan Parti Bangkang Yang depan ambil satu side, yang depan ambil satu side. Okey.
Ya, kita setuju.
Yang depan
supaya
ada
ada rundingan dengan PAS.
Depan sana. Okey. Teruskan okey. Okey.
Runding dulu, kemudian tengok macam mana persetujuan
Okey,
bersama.
kita tengok.
Perhubungan tu kita jalinlah supaya kerjasama yang kita harap akan terjalin akan menjadi satu kenyataan.
The duo met as Anwar appeared in the High Court on Wednesday morning to settle a libel suit brought against Utusan Melayu. Bersate 2.0 chairperson Maria Chin Abdullah will file a lawsuit at the High Court, aiming to temporarily halt the Election Commission's redelineation exercise. Maria claims the EC has failed to provide enough information on the September 14th redelineation proposal.
We want to file in a legal suit before the objection. That means before the 14th of October. One is based on the issue of over-representation of the rural constituencies. Is allowed on the ground of area of landmass. And then to also judge if this is what we are trying to do, to judge if malapportionment of a constituency is constitutional or unconstitutional.
Maria, who resides in Petaling Jaya Utara, will raise the constitutional challenge for her own constituency after collecting 100 signatures from PJU voters. She aims to file the suit on Friday. Also making headlines on Wednesday, Switzerland's Office of the Attorney General, OAG, has requested further legal assistance from Malaysian authorities as part of its investigation into 1MDB. In a statement, the OAG said it has identified suspect transactions involving the Swiss financial sector. It includes a Ponzi scheme fraud to conceal the misappropriations from both SRC and 1MDB. A video of a man beating up an elderly woman has gone viral. The incident is believed to have occurred at an old folks' home in Malacca. Enraged citizens are urging police to take action. Malay movie Reda has been selected by FINAS as Malaysia's official entry for the Best Foreign Language category at the 89th Academy Awards. Produced by Current Pictures, the film centers around the life of young Daniel and the struggles he and his family endure in coping with his uniqueness.
Baik ke buruk ke dia tak sempurna atau sempurna, kamu harus terima dengan reda.
In world news, Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte had a very clear message for the US on Tuesday.
So, you can go to hell. Mr. Obama, you can go to hell.
What set off his latest outburst? Duterte claims the US is refusing to sell weapons to the Philippines, but he says it's all right, as Russia and China are willing suppliers.
Eventually, I might, in my time, I will break up with America. I would rather go to Russia and to China. At least, even if we do not agree with their ideology, they have respect for the people.
Ironically, his harsh words come as joint Philippine-US maritime drills kicked off, which are aimed at improving cooperation. Hong Kong pro-democracy activist Joshua Wong was detained today by Thai authorities after arriving at Bangkok's Suvarnabhumi airport. Wong was the face of the 2014 Hong Kong pro-democracy protests and was invited to Bangkok by Thai student activists. It's claimed Thailand barred entry to the 19-year-old following pressure from China after receiving an official letter. A video has gone viral online of a fight over seats on Beijing's metro, turning into a full-scale brawl. Fights on trains in China are quite common amid crowded train cars and a limited number of seats. Jamie Oliver has come under fire after posting a recipe for his version of paella online. Spaniards and foodies have slammed the celebrity chef for the inauthentic recipe, with some saying his inclusion of chorizo is an abomination, while some trolls tweeted out their fake versions of other recipes. That's a wrap for Cuppa News. Have an awesome night.